So in this video, I'm going to go through the topic 6.3, composition of functions, just in case you missed class or you missed something in class. So this was just a warm-up we did, getting used to function notation. And so we would take, for this first one, f of -2, we plug it into wherever we see an x into our function. Remember, f of x just means y. So if I want f of -2, I plug in, so I do it up here, I plug in this -2 right in for that x and multiply. So 3 times -2 is -6, and then I add 1, and let's get rid of that. That equals -5. So we would say f of -2 equals -5. And then for this one, this is just another function, g of x, just another, maybe g stands for something in the problem. So this means find g of 3, we need to plug in 3 everywhere we see an x, whatever our function is. So then g of 3 would be 3 squared minus 3 times 3 minus 1. And then we follow the order of operations. 3 squared is 9. 3 times 3 is also 9. And then minus 1, we go left to right. 9 minus 9 is 0, minus 1. So we get g of 3 equals -1. And all this really means is 3 is the x coordinate, -1 is the y. It's a coordinate in space. So is this one, -2, -5, is some coordinate out in space, -2, -5. This one just means, 3 and right 3 and down 1. So that's all that really means visually. So on to actually composing two functions. So this means f of g of x is how we would actually say this, f of g of x. And this one's the other way, g of f of x. And so it depends. If we do f of g of x, notice inside this double parentheses, the g of x is inside. So that means we take our g of x function and we plug it inside the f function. So f of g of x is going to be, we just replace this x with the 2x plus 1. So we get 4 times 2x plus 1, and then we simplify. 4 times 2x is 8x, and 4 times 1 is 4. And so we're done. F of g of x is 8x plus 4. But if we want to do the other way around, g of f of x, notice f of x is now inside of g. So we want to take, let's do a different color. We want to take our, oops, that is definitely not what I want. Go back to the pen. So we want f of x to go inside of g of x this time. So we replace this x with 4x. So this becomes 2 times 4x, and then this plus 1 just comes on at the end. So 2 times 4x is 8x plus 1. This one's a little bit easier. So they're different answers. Notice they're not the same thing. F of g of x is different than g of f of x. Okay, let's look at another example. So this time just two different functions. Again, if g of x is on the inside, then the g of x function, whatever it is, goes inside the f function, but this time we have more than one x, so it has to go in to both spots. So f of g of x, we're going to plug in the 4x minus 1 into both of these x's. So 4x minus 1 and squared because it says x squared. And then plus x again, but x is getting replaced with 4x minus 1. So we have to plus, another way to think of this is like saying x squared plus x, just like we had in the original, x squared plus x. Okay, and now we simplify. 4x minus 1 squared, we have to multiply this out. 4x minus 1 times 4x minus 1. We cannot just distribute. That's not how it works when there's a addition or subtraction. So we have to multiply this out. 4x times 4x is 16x squared. 4x times negative 1 is negative 4x. And then we have the same thing in the middle. And then negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. And then we're adding on this 4x minus 1 at the end. So we've got a lot of things to sort out here. And some of them are going to cancel. We have minus 4x plus 4x can cancel. We have plus 1 and minus 1 can cancel. So really, we're just left with 16x squared minus this 4x did not cancel with anything. So that would be f of g of x. Now, if we have to do g of f of x now, so that means we're going to take our, since f is in the inside, we plug in the f function inside the g function, and this time there's only one x. So f of g of x, we just take the 4 and we replace this x with x squared plus x. And then copy down the minus 1. Okay, now we have to simplify. And this time we don't have to do so much multiplication. We just distribute the 4. We get 4x squared plus 4x minus 1. These are all different terms, so that is as simplified as it gets. And we'll go on to another example. Those are just the answers again up there. So this time, find f of g of 3. There's no x here. This used to be an x on the last the previous examples, but now we've got a number here, and so it's actually a little bit easier to evaluate this. We want it, since g is on the inside of these brackets, we want to do that first. So just find g of 3 first, which is really easy, just 2 times 3, which is 6. Now once we have that answer, we're plugging that, so we know that this part equals 6. So now all that's left, we're done with this, all that's left is f of 6. And so we plug in 6 into f, so we're replacing that with a 6, and that means we replace both of these with 6s. And so we get 6 squared plus 3 times 6, not 36, plus 11. So that's 6 squared is 36, plus 3 times 6, which is 18. And we just go left to right. 36 plus 18 plus 11. Calculator could maybe save you some time and a headache. And this comes out to be 65. So our overall answer, if we go back, is just 65. We're saying f of g of 3 is 65.